What do you think about the state of our economy?
This is the golden age of America.
What does this so-called golden age actually look like for the average American? Maybe it's that working Americans have enough money to rest and take a vacation. Oh, wait, what? Summer vacations are shrinking as costs keep rising. Okay, fine. Maybe in this golden age, Americans can treat themselves to an old ball game. Sorry? Ah, damn. Trump says people who can't afford NBA Finals tickets can watch on TV. That's the way life goes. What about just basic stuff, basic living expenses, like gas? Gas costs an average of, $4 nationally. Okay, groceries, up a staggering 33% since 2019. That is the largest jump in 50 years. What about housing? Nearly half of households that rent spend more than a third of their income on housing. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but I am not buying this whole golden age thing. You can tell someone they don't need a vacation or basketball tickets, but groceries and gas and rent, that is not exactly optional. And voters know that too.
You can't do anything with gas prices, and you can't afford to breathe at this point.
Every dollar you have has to go to gas, groceries, bills, rent.
Are you regretting your vote right now?
I have the past 2 years, yeah.
And everything has gone expensive. Gas expensive, food expensive, hair expensive, makeup expensive, clothes, rent, shoes, insurance. Like, is there anything left for us that's affordable? Anything? And please, don't say healthcare, because y'all gonna make me laugh. Like, our generation has, nothing left that's affordable. Like, it's actually sad. Like, the only way you can have something affordable is if you move to Iowa. And none of us are doing that. So, I guess we gotta thug it out.
Iowa, of all places. Is Iowa even inexpensive? Y'all drop that in the comment section below. Anybody live in Iowa? How's the cost of living out there? I never heard that. I don't know. She could be right. She could be wrong. I don't know. How much cheaper is it to live in Iowa than everywhere else? I thought she was going to say out the country. She said Iowa. A place like Iowa, I'm pretty sure it is inexpensive. You don't hear nothing about Iowa. I don't, at least.
Everything is unaffordable. Every time you step foot out of your house and go somewhere, it feels like you're literally spending like $150. Gas is through the roof. You're paying more money for gas that isn't lasting you as long. You go into the store, you buy yourself 6 items, and it's like $80. People tell you to budget better, work harder, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but there's only so much that you can do, and there's not, too many other areas that we can quote-unquote cut back on. It feels like everybody's goal anymore is to make more money to try to save up and get ahead, but since our currency has lost almost all of its value, it almost feels impossible. It feels like even if you are to save yourself a couple $1,000s, it's not really $1,000 the same way that it used to.
Exactly, nah. You can't save your way out of this. Anybody telling you that don't know what they're talking about. The dollar will continue to deplete. The purchasing power will continue to go down. You're saving paper that doesn't have the same value that it did before you started saving it. By the time you got those couple thousand saved up, you actually have less purchasing power.
This economy only works well for the 1%. For the rest of us, it's shit fucking poor. Many of us are out here just hoping and praying to God that we can make it through another week because our paychecks isn't keeping up with the rise in the cost of living anymore.
That message hit home right there. That one 100% true. 100% right, ain't she? All right, now this guy always energetic, but he always know how to get the message out there. Let's see what he's talking about as far as cost of living goes.
Hey, what's up, America? The cost of living here in the United States. So we always talk about how high prices are here in the United States and the cost of living for basically everything. But is the cost of living going up or is it coming down? Well, here's all the information you need to know about the cost of living here in America. Here's the overall cost of living in the United States since 2006. Anything below that gray line marked 0 means you're paying less. Anything above means you're paying more. So this first chart is overall cost of the shit you buy in America. You can see the largest cost increase overall came from the Biden administration. Before that, it was the Bush administration, followed by a sharp decline in cost of living. Now, this is the price of food at the grocery store. You can see it went up very high under Joe Biden, dropped significantly, but still remains increasing slightly. Like I said before, anything above that line marked 0 on the left, you're paying more. This is the overall cost of energy, and as you can see among every president, at some point the cost has randomly skyrocketed, then falls, but still always costing you more. This is the overall cost of gasoline here in the United States. You can see very high under Biden, very high under Bush, now very high under Trump, but every president seems to do this, and you know it's price gouging coming from the oil industry for the most part.
All right, now if this is accurate, this is what Trump is talking about, I guess. I guess when he says the prices are down, technically he is correct, but high is high. I don't care if it was up here before and now it's only down here. It's not below 0. It's not below, the levels that are saying you're paying less. The numbers are still high. They're just not as high. You're paying more, just not as much as when it was at the peak. When it peaked, price peaked right there. It came down a little bit, but it's still high. You get what I'm saying? So I guess he's not lying when he says the numbers are down. But it's not down like that. Not like you saying it's still high. It's still bad. People still are struggling. It's still super expensive. The cost of living is still outrageous.
Now here's the overall cost of new vehicles here in the United States. Once again, under Joe Biden, skyrocketing through the roof, then drastically falling under Trump and plateauing like we're seeing. Now here's the overall average cost of all energy sources in the United States. Electricity, natural gas, gasoline, all that type of stuff. You can see it basically follows a similar pattern, all the energy in the entire world as far as price is concerned. And this tells me right here that they're all working together as a cartel situation to price gouge the American people at certain times, like you see here. It's basically been 1-to-1 since 2006, with various small exceptions, but not many. Now here's the overall cost of shelter here in the United States. You can see the even flow of prices, but always heading up slightly. And that's the point. They want to always be charging you more. Also, if you haven't noticed, only back in 2010 did prices actually come down. They're constantly increasing. And that's your rent, your homes, all that together, always going up. Now, this is the average cost of food since 2006. This is food at home, meaning the grocery store, or food out at restaurants. Once again, only in a few very rare occasions did prices drop. They've always basically been going up with big peaks in price increases under Joe Biden. Now, this is food eating out. If you haven't noticed, prices went very high under Joe Biden, and going out to a restaurant remains very high in price, still increasing. And here's the price of clothing under Joe Biden. It blasted up again, kind of just above average, and then dropped, and then under Trump, it's going back up again. But apparel is just what it is, always increasing, except for one time here during the coronavirus and one time back in 2010. So overall, what you're seeing is a general slight increase of price, no matter who's in charge, always slightly charging more year over year.
There we go. That's why I always tell y'all, it don't matter who you voted for. People always say, I wish I didn't vote for him. It don't matter who in there. There is always an increase. I don't know how people don't know that. They haven't noticed that, huh? I guess they think they always make the wrong decision every time. I shouldn't have voted for him. I guess that's always the excuse that they have in mind. It doesn't matter who you vote for. Prices will go up, charging the consumers more.
Over a year, so after a decade or so, you're charging 20 or 30% more. What you're not seeing is deflation. The marks that go below zero to actually lower prices, they don't want any of that.
Nope.
Now, this is also indicative of the value of your currency getting worse and worse year over year.
Yeah, weaker.
So you never really get to recover from like a Joe Biden that you're seeing here. Prices will go up 10% or more, then drop down to an average increase of 3%. But you're not actually paying less ever. You were paying more, then it dropped to paying only slightly more.
Right.
Initially it was $1, then it went up to $2, back down to $1.50. You're never really paying that dollar again, are you? Then the next time around it goes up to $3. Then you're relieved, woo, when you're paying $2. Then it goes up to $4 and you're relieved when you're paying $3, and so on until the billionaires make every dime you have and you get to pay more and more of a currency value getting less and less as time progresses. You see, this is why we need deflation, long-term, low-key deflation, maybe 3 or 4% price cut every year for a decade. But the billionaires won't do that because they're miserly hoarder pieces of shit, coupled with the Federal Reserve, and you're all fucked. Now get to working, bitch. The rich need your goddamn money.
Man. Hey, he blunt with it, vulgar with it, but he's right. That's the way they think. That's not his way of thinking. That's just him putting it in the terms of the billionaires. Now you get comfortable paying, like you said, oh, it was $4, now it's $3. You're like, oh, it's only $3 now. You comfortable paying the $3 because it's not $4. Although it should really be $2. This is the game they play.